Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 11 of this Final Fantasy III Pixel Remaster Platinum Trophy walkthrough. We're going to pick up right where we left off last time, and in this episode we're going to tackle the Eureka dungeon within the Crystal Tower. One thing I would recommend is to have your Devout have 2 Golem Staffs equipped, and then an Omni Rod on your Magus, and that will allow us to instantly kill some enemies with the gradual petrification effect. And I'll explain that a little bit more when we get to it. So head into the Crystal Tower, walk straight up, and we're going to interact with this mirror. A voice emanates from the mirror. I am the door to the forbidden realm of Eureka, resting place of weapons deemed beyond mankind's power. An invisible wall is blocking the path. So we're going to go down and use the Eureka key from our main items, and that will open the way to Eureka. So let's go inside. Okay, from the starting point we're going to head south, and we get into a fight immediately with the Abaya enemy and the 2 Sleipnirs in the back. These guys all hit pretty hard, but as I explained a moment ago, we're going to use the gradual petrification to our advantage. So in order to kill an enemy that is weak to petrification, it needs to be hit with that effect 3 times. And what we have is our Devout has 2 weapons that inflict gradual petrification, and our Magus has 1 weapon that inflicts it. So together that's 3 attacks, and if they all hit the same enemy, that's going to immediately kill that enemy regardless of its HP. So we're going to use that to great effect. We're going to walk around to grab 2 chests on the left side and then do the exact same on the opposite side on the right, for a total of 4 chests on this floor. Once you have all of those, then we will exit out the bottom. Starting on the second floor, we're going to head south, and we get into a fight with the Heyoka enemies. It's a preemptive strike, so I'll show you that gradual petrification instantly killing these guys. So we have our Magus hit it once, it turns gray on the bottom, and then our Devout hits it twice with her 2 different weapons, and that instantly kills him regardless of his HP. So there you go, we have another 1 petrification and 2 more from the Devout, and he's gone. Very effective against many enemies in Eureka. We'll head south and then go to the left, and you can enter the door. There is 1 treasure chest in here that we can get a bomb arm from. Then head south and do the same on the right side. Head on over and go through the door. Grab the 3 treasure chests in this room and then head out. Now go between the left and the right doors. There's a path south and a crack in the wall about halfway through. Go all the way to the left and there's a treasure chest with monsters in it. This technically isn't a new monster for the Bestiary because we did fight one in Falgabard when we got the Kiki Uchimanchi sword, but we have to defeat it anyway to get what's in the treasure chest. So use your best attacks to take it out. These guys still hit really hard for us. I don't know why that is, but I don't like these types of enemies because they are very difficult to defeat, and his attacks can also inflict blindness. Unlike other Final Fantasy games, the blindness or the darkness effect here, it doesn't mean that you'll miss attacks. What it really means is that the number of hits that you'll do will be reduced. So instead of hitting maybe 6 times per attack, we're only hitting 3 times, and that does mean that we have lesser damage, not that we're doing no damage. So a little bit of a difference there from other Final Fantasy games, but that is something that we can take off with the blindness spell, or if we have eye drops, we can do that too. All that being said, this isn't a terrible fight, and it's not the first time that we've done it, so just make sure that you keep your HP high because it still hits pretty hard, and it won't take too terribly long to kill it. Okay, he's finally gone and we can move on. As a reward, we get a ribbon. So head on to the right, and then we're going to go down through the southern exit. The ribbon that we got, it doesn't provide a lot of defense, however, it does provide resistance to a lot of status ailments, so that's pretty good. Well, if you head south in this room, you'll grab a shuriken, and then just head back up. Go toward the right, and we're going to just work our way around past the door that we went through earlier, and then there's a hallway going south, so take that down, and you will work your way toward the bottom exit. From here, we're going to keep heading south. At the intersection, go left and grab the treasure chest, and now go back toward the right and head south again. When you get to the bottom, head left. There's a treasure chest just above you, so grab that for another shuriken, and keep going left, grab the third treasure chest for a phoenix down, and then head out the bottom. Keep going south and then toward the right. You'll work your way around the path. It's pretty easy, hard to get lost here. When you get down to the bottom, you'll see a circle on the ground. Make sure that you heal up and quick save before this, because we have a fight. The Moonring Blade, Force of Darkness. Show your worth. We're forced into a fight with Amon, and this is very similar to the Heian battle that we did a long time ago. In fact, the character models look exactly the same, minus a little bit of a color difference, and the mechanics work identically. So if you had a scholar job, you could use the study command to figure out what his actual weakness is when he does a barrier shift. And that will ensure that you're always doing the maximum damage with your black magic spells, because you'll always be hitting his weakness. I don't have a scholar, so I'm just going to try to brute force it and take some guesses at what his weaknesses are, and sometimes I'll be right and sometimes I'll be wrong. The penalty for being wrong isn't severe, you'll just heal him a little bit, but you can always do a ton more damage when you get it correct, so it's worth the gamble with that. Physical attacks don't do a whole lot. If you use things like Aeroga or Quake, you'll be able to kind of get around what his weakness is, because it doesn't count for or against anything a whole lot. I tried a Firaga here after his first barrier shift. I got it wrong. I healed him a little bit, not a big deal. I'll have some better luck throughout the rest of this one. And remember, the only 3 spells that really count for the barrier shift are fire-based spells, ice-based spells, and thunder-based spells. Anything else doesn't really factor into his weaknesses. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of being correct, and 2/3 being incorrect for that. So it's worth a shot. You can try it. I hit him with a Blizzaga and do some pretty decent damage with just over 3,000. So I know that he's now weak to ice, so I can keep going with that one for another round or so before I have to be worried about his next barrier shift. And I don't really think that he sticks with the same one twice in a row, so I kind of then, in my mind, changes it to a 50-50 between what the next weakness is going to be. Well, he did a barrier shift, so I'm going to try either Firaga or Thundaga at this point. We'll just go with Firaga, see how it all works out, and we will see if we hit his weakness or if we end up healing him. My bet on Firaga pays off, and I do massive damage to him, and we will just kind of continue this and keep on guessing at what his weaknesses will be, and hopefully it won't take too long. Amon has 23,000 HP, and when he's not using his barrier shift, he likes to use those level 3 black magics of Thundaga, Blizzaga, and Firaga. And he'll just kind of cycle through those as well. So not a terribly difficult boss, just have your white mage use Cura on whoever he targets. He uses just those single target spells, so just heal up whoever got damaged and you should be fine without any real issues. It just is an annoyingly long battle if you're bad at guessing what his elemental weaknesses are, but again, using that scholar will ensure that you're doing the correct magic spell that does the most damage to him. So there's the biggest tip for this one. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it play out for a little bit more, and then I will see you at the end. There you go, another boss bites the dust, and this is a good time to hit that like and subscribe button. Then let me know down in the comments that you subscribed so that I can thank you personally. Obtained Moonring Blade. Alright, let's keep rolling. We're going to head south and then toward the left, and then we will exit out the bottom. Now on the 5th floor, we're going to head south. We get into a fight with an Acheron. This guy looks just like the Hecatoncheir or the Titan bosses. Luckily, this guy isn't nearly as dangerous as what those guys were to us. Still hits decently hard, but we can do a lot of damage to him every turn, and this fight doesn't take too terribly long at all. When you reach this intersection, go left. You can grab the chest on the left for a Phoenix down, then head back all the way to the right. You see a sword laying on the ground, and this is fairly ominous. We're going to just make sure that we're healed up, and then we want to do a quick save because we have another mini boss fight that we have to take care of. So once you're prepared, talk to the blade. Masamune, the Mystic Blade. Defeat me and I am yours to wield. We're forced into a battle with the Kunoichi. This isn't a very difficult boss, and there's not a lot to say about this one, really. She's just going to use Eureka, which does a ton of damage to us, and you'll definitely want to keep up on the healing with this because 2 of those will very likely kill any of your characters. So whoever she targets with that one, just make sure that you heal them the next round, and then you should be okay. Most likely, you'll be wanting to use Kiraga just to keep up with the damage that she's throwing out at you, and if you need to and find yourself in a desperate spot, then Kiraja will be able to really help out your party. So just keep up with your strongest attacks, and hopefully you get through this fight pretty easily. If she does kill off a character, you can always just revive them. Luckily, she only targets one person at a time, so you don't have to worry about those party-wide attacks really knocking out your whole party at once. So just work your way through it, and it shouldn't be too bad of a fight for you, as long as you make sure that you're diligent about the healing. That's really all I have to say about this fight, so I will let it play out, and I'll see you at the end. The Kunoichi is down, and we can move right along. As a reward, we get the Masamune blade that was lying on the ground. Obtained Masamune. The weapons that we're picking up are among the best in the game, so make sure that you're equipping them as necessary. Also, we're going to keep those golem staffs on, even though it's not the most damage, just that instant petrification kill is really good. Okay, we're going to head now south at the main intersection, grab the treasure chest, and then head down the stairs. From here, we're going to go slightly to the south and then over to the right first. Then we can head down. The bridge looks a little bit janky, but we can still get around it no problem. Before you do your best King Arthur impression and pull the sword from the stone, we're going to heal up and do a quick save because, of course, we have another boss fight. Excalibur, the Sword of Legend. Can you handle my might? This is General. He has 3 attacks that we need to think about. The first one is a pretty powerful physical attack for us, and he's going to do quite a bit of damage, and he really hates my knight. He's going to be attacking that knight over and over again, and that's going to be kind of a struggle for him, and he'll be taking a lot of dirt naps throughout this fight, but that at least gives my white mage things to do. So be aware of those physical attacks and be prepared to heal every turn for those. Also, he has the bio spell, so he can do some decent damage to you with that one. And also he has the drain spell, which is a little bit of an annoyance for us. He already has 25,000 HP, which is a pretty decent amount, but then through the drain spell, he's stealing health from us and giving it to himself, so he'll be constantly healing throughout this fight. We just have to overpower him. We're going to keep up with our strongest spells, making sure that we're using things like Firaga and Quake. Those are probably the best things for us. I have a Dragoon, so I'm jumping with that one, doing some pretty good damage when I land, and we're just going to keep on healing and dishing out the damage while we can. And my knight's going to be relatively useless as he keeps getting KO'd, but luckily I'm able to keep picking him up, and we will just finish the fight as strong as possible. So I'm going to let this one play out for you to watch, and I will see you on the other side of it. Eureka kind of becomes a boss gauntlet toward the end, just with all of the legendary weapons being guarded by something. I guess that's fair though, you wouldn't want the strongest weapons in the game to be freebies for you to pick up. So we will earn those things, and we obtained the Excalibur. So let's go ahead and put that on our knight, and hopefully he'll be a little bit stronger now because of that. And now we'll head up toward the north again, and if we head to the left at the main intersection, it looks like we can't go across there, but there are hidden passages that allow us to go across. Oceanus is the last monster that we have to find down here, so let's hit him with some pretty strong attacks. So we have a nice Thundaga for him, and it'll do some pretty good damage for us. The Excalibur and that Moonring blade really come in handy and finishing him off pretty quickly. As I mentioned, the Oceanus was the last monster of Eureka, so let's go to the Bestiary and make sure that we have everything. Scroll all the way down to number 170. You should have everything in the Bestiary up until that point. And 170 is Abaya, then Sleipnir, Heoka, Acheron, and Oceanus. If you have all of those, that means you have all the monsters from the random encounters in Eureka, plus you got the ones that were guarding the legendary weapons. We'll keep on heading south through the path, and you will be able to come out to the bottom side of here, walk up, and go out this little hidden exit. From here, proceed up, and you're going to be at another intersection with a staff on the left and a sword on the right. We're going to do a quick save here, make sure that we're all healed up, then interact with the staff on the left. The Elder Staff. Defeat me and I will grant you the titles of Ninja and Sage. Something within the staff attacked. This is Scylla, and as the boss that protects a magical weapon, you can rightly assume that he will focus on magical attacks against us. Luckily, we can set up that reflect status to bounce some spells back at him, and we will focus on using our own strong magic attacks. Quake, Firaga, even Bio does pretty good damage against him. And you can see here I'm reflecting that Holy back, and it's going to do some decent damage to him, not a whole lot, just over 1,000. And we're going to focus on our physical attacks with our melee characters. Make sure that you're healing up if one of those spells does hit you, because it does quite a bit of damage. And we're just going to work our way right through this boss. There's not much more to say about it than that, so I'll let it play out, and when the battle's over, I'll talk to you again. Alright, Scylla is defeated. It wasn't too terrible. Did have some close calls with my knight, and I've gone through this whole game without ending a fight with any of my characters KO'd. That's why they all have exactly the same experience value, but my knight's not doing me any favors. And we obtained the Elder Staff. And obtained the titles of Ninja and Sage, Masters in the Arts of Weaponry and Magic. Sage and Ninja jobs now available. The first thing we're going to do is to switch our melee characters to the Ninja job. Ninja is far and away the best melee class in the entire game. It equips very good weapons, it attacks many times per turn, and it does some good damage with having pretty decent defense as well. So it's really the best of all worlds there. We're also going to heal up and then make sure that we do a quick save before we go and talk to the sword on the other side. I am Ragnarok, the unparalleled. You cannot hope to handle my power. Here we have Guardian, and he's pretty easy thanks to our new ninja jobs. Keep in mind we are ninja level 1 for this fight, and we're still able to do many attacks per turn. So typically that increases with the job level, but we're doing 12 hits, 15 hits on our very first time ever using this job. So very impressive. We're going to use the bio spell with our Magus. This boss focuses on physical attacks, so if you want to, you can cast Protect on a character that might be vulnerable. Otherwise, we're just going to make sure that we're healing up whenever we take some damage. But these ninjas are tankier than what you might expect them to be, and we're just going to do lots of damage with every attack. So this battle won't take too long thanks to our ninjas and our strong magic spells from our Magus. It's going to be a relatively short fight, and you're rewarded with the Ragnarok at the end. And with that, the boss gauntlet is complete. We've defeated all of the monsters in Eureka, and so we can just do a little bit of a wrap-up job, and then we can head on out. Worthy warriors, I will lend you my strength. My light is yours. Obtained Ragnarok. At this point, we get the item detector trophy for getting all of the hidden items in the game, and we also get the forbidden weapons trophy for getting all of the legendary weapons in Eureka. In fact, all of those legendary weapons count as hidden items as well. We'll head up into the northern room. There are two guys in here. Luckily, they're on our side. We don't have to fight them. And there are 4 treasure chests in this room, so go around and pick those all up. And then you can talk to the guys in the middle. They are both magic shops. The one on the left has very powerful white magics and black magics. You'll definitely want to pick up Arise, as well as Flare, Death, and Meteor. And if you've got the extra money, then Holy and Tornado are good too. Of course, you want to make sure that you teach those magics to the correct characters, so we're going to use the Learn command to teach all the white magics to our devout, and then we will teach the black magics to our magus. And then those are the best spells in the game for those respective classes, so that's good. The person on our right sells the summons, and that is Catastro, Leviath, and Bahamut, the ones that we get for defeating Odin, Leviathan, and Bahamut. Interact with the switch on the top wall, and you can open up a passage to the right. So go ahead, go through there. This is the item shop, and it sells a very unique item, which would be the shuriken. And if you've got some spare money, I would definitely recommend buying as many shurikens as possible, because our ninja can throw them and do massive damage, and that's a quick way to defeat the final boss. So I only had enough money for one, but that gives me a total of 6. We're going to go through, make sure that all of our equipment is good, and then we can use the White Mage's teleport spell to get out of here. And that's all that we have to do in Eureka. So I just want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the support you're giving this series. We're going to do the Crystal Tower in the next video, and then after that it's just the World of Darkness, and we'll have beaten the game. So let's use teleport to get out of here, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and have a good day.